Well, the video has gone viral. It is former NBA center Enes Kanter Freedom. He got called for a technical ejection after courtside sparring with Chicago Sky guard Natasha Cloud over, well, it was a gender definition T-shirt he wore to the game. Freedom says the exchange began after he just celebrated Sophie Cunningham's three-pointer, sending tensions, though, into overtime. Kanter says that Cloud actually made a vulgar remark to him, repeatedly cursed him before security removed him from Sunday night's game against the Indiana Fever. Of course, Enes Kanter Freedom declared himself ready for the WNBA 2027 draft, as again, this is another spectacle in what has become a story that refuses to go away for the women players there. Pleased to bring in media expert, bestselling author Michael Levine to discuss all of this. Also, U.S. political reporter for the Daily Mail, Victoria Churchill. You know, Enes, for whatever it's worth, has his side of the story. They have the other side. You know, is any of this really helping the women of the NBA? I say no. And Charlemagne came out and said on his radio program that this is just not also, you're losing the plot when you now become a distraction to women's sports. First to you, Victoria.
Well, thanks so much for having me back on, Bianca. I definitely agree with you on this one that, you know, I think it's one thing to make a point, make that declaration for the draft as, you know, the WNBA is potentially exploring having transgender athletes, but it's another to distract from the game. And I think, you know, obviously I think players in the league have done enough to distract audiences from the game themselves, but I don't think they necessarily need Enes Kanter Freedom's assistance in that regard.
Yeah, justified or not, the story is now such a distraction. Michael, Toronto Tempo has a new non-binary cisgender mascot, the snapping turtle, who has pronouns. So again, you see how wacky and weird this is going. This really isn't about just the, you know, incredible success women have as athletes on the field. From a PR perspective, if you're advising the WNBA, what do you tell them to actually get the focus on the players and not all this sideline stuff?
Well, our friends in the WNBA are involved, in my opinion, in a slow-motion suicide. And so what would I advise people determined to commit suicide? Don't kill yourself. You are killing yourself. You're killing your league. You're killing your sport. You're acting in the most outrageous, self-destructive ways imaginable. Suicidal would seem appropriate. And so when you're in a hole, quit digging.
Well, you know, I hear where you're going. We're just very sensitive. Obviously, suicide is a very serious issue, and we know you're making it in sort of a weaving there of, you know, not doing what they should be doing as far as focused on the game. But we appreciate your comments, Victoria. Michael, unfortunately, it does it for this edition of Bianca Across the Nation. America.